The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Camping Show. I'm C.W. Getz.
And I'm Bianca Cahew.
Good evening. It's Wednesday, July 13th, 2022. We have an 83-degree sunny evening here in north central Illinois. And I am going to take a shot in the dark on this with a Celsius conversion. I'm going to say that's 21 degrees. How am I doing?
Okay, let's see. Hang on. All right, 21 degrees.
That's my guess.
Okay. You're off. You're off by just a couple degrees.
Really? So that's not bad.
So it's 28 in our area.
Okay, that's a lot.
To be exact.
In Celsius degrees, that's a lot. I'm like, that's almost the difference between snow and rain, right? It seems like it would be. I don't know, 8 degrees.
Much.
That's a lot. That's between freezing and boiling, that 8 degrees, right? In Celsius, I don't know. They have it's a whole different program. I'm not that familiar.
Oh my God, I was never good with conversions and numbers.
Yeah, me neither. So that's why we don't do it here as a regular thing, right?
And that's why we do what we do. Welcome to the Camping Show.
Absolutely. How was your week, Bianca?
It's great so far. How about yourself?
It was just fine, actually. Well, we had a couple little crises here. You know, it's always a fire to put out here in the country. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, little fires everywhere.
Yeah, I'm thinking about signing up for a program where I actually get paid for that instead of just volunteer like I do on a weekly basis. But yeah, so no events. I mean, a rather easy, simple week for you. No major stuff, right?
Oh yeah, easy peasy. Nothing crazy.
Good for you. I want your life. Oh my God. Well, tonight's episode of the Camping Show is brought to you by Campground Views, making camping easier.
And Rutabaga Paddle Sports, providing time on the water.
Tonight's episode is Happy Campers Summer Update 2022 with our special guest, Kevin the Happy Camper Callan.
Kevin Callahan, a.k.a. The Happy Camper, as you said, is the author of 18 books. He is an award-winning writer and a keynote speaker in outdoor events across North America, and is also a regular guest on several television morning shows and CBC Radio. Kevin has several film awards to his credit and writes a column for Paddling Magazine and Explore Magazine. He was listed as one of the top 100 modern-day explorers by the Canadian Geographical Society and was made patron paddler for Paddle Canada. Welcome, Kevin.
Hey.
Or welcome back, as I should say.
I know. I think I'm on every minute of the day on your show.
Yeah.
Bianca, like
you just bopped in.
Forget me for one moment. Before we were on, you were telling a story about your mom at the deli. Come on, that's a good story. Come on.
Oh no, I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, it's a good story. I would love to have that story in my head.
Yeah.
As a writer, I would love to write it down.
And we thought it was
so think you're a little kid. You don't know about the birds and the bees. You don't know about much, and you're just in the cart and you're with your mom. And every time she would pass by the deli section, right as rain, sure as day, all the meat men from the deli, working hard, cutting that meat all day. They come out all sweaty and just to their surprise, a beautiful woman just passes along in the grocery store with her young child, and just they grab all the finest meats from the back and the cheeses and just beg her to try the meats and the cheeses. And yes, I over exaggerated that, but I think you got the gist of that.
I think you're a writer. I think, you should write that down. That's your memoir for sure.
Yeah. Memoirs are very cool.
The meat deli people I have known.
What's that?
The meat deli people I have known.
You have known?
Ooh. That's a great title. That's a great title, Bianca. I like that.
Yeah. All the meat and deli man encounters.
What is
Yes.
that? I have no. What's that from?
Tales of the, I don't know.
Tales from the North.
Or men are pigs.
Meat men are pigs.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is. I can see where this is going already.
Yeah, I mean, double entendres everywhere.
Oh man,
I'm so glad to be on your show again, CW.
yes, and we just we probably lost a little 7-second delay there when they edited that out. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
No, we don't have that here.
About the meat.
Yeah, right. The meat men or what? I'm thinking bodybuilders. The gun show meat men and all that. But no, different thing.
I got so many things I could say right now, but I'm not sure if
we would get bleeped.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Good thing we don't have to answer the FCC. Anyway, yeah. Hey, Kevin, by the way, real quickly here. Greetings, Kevin from Hamilton.
Oh, Camper 69. So ask him how many waterfalls he has visited this season so far.
I think he just did.
Test, he actually goes out camping just to look at a waterfall and say, I've seen this waterfall.
Hey, speaking of that, I want to ask you about your hat. What this is like is you're becoming John Denver's almost like a clone. That's different than clown, but clone.
No, I'd say more of like a reincarnate,
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. He's got a Ted Nugent hat.
There we
that's
go.
I'm sorry. All right, so, yeah, see that, and I think more and more I'm seeing the resemblance.
We got to work on the glasses. We got to work.
Well,
on
I had round glasses. I really did, but I didn't get many dates.
Kevin, you're a celebrity. They should probably be beating your door down.
Those are in these days, and you can say, "Oh, it's vintage."
No, in fact, I went to my eyeglass person. I wanted round glasses, and the assistant said,
"Why?"
Well, because
did they think you look too much like John Denver, or what's the deal?
Well, you couldn't buy them because at that point it was it was the wand guy that was
the what?
The wand.
Wand guy.
John Denver. It was the round glasses wand guy.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Oh,
and you don't want to look like Harry Potter because Harry Potter doesn't get many dates.
I think chicks dig him, don't they? Everybody loves Harry Potter.
No, they dug who is the one that was in Twilight? Oh, what was his name? I can't remember. My fiance knows all the Harry Potter. He lived and breathed and read all those books.
But Bianca, if I was a deli person with round glasses,
that would be interesting.
Oh.
I'm yet to see a deli man. I've had some encounters myself with the men of the deli. They're kind men. Great.
Kevin, sexy beasts.
Sexy
beasts don't wear round glasses, man. I have to say.
I love this interview. This is fantastic. It's all this is fantastic. Okay, so
because we're learning all about the outdoors right now.
Yeah. Bianca, it's all about.
Yeah. We're it looks like we're heading south right now.
It is a bit about nature, though, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, this hat, though, by the way, this hat, I actually bought this off a guy downtown Toronto. I love the hat. And I said, how much? $30 and probably 35 years ago. And that's how I got this hat.
Do you think that was worth it 35 years ago?
Well, it is now.
Well, now,
definitely.
that's true.
It is now. At the time, that was a lot of money.
That's what I thought.
And probably he stole it off someone else to sell. I don't know.
Even in Canadian money, that's a lot of money, Yeah.
What kind of material is that? Is that leather?
No, it's one of those things where you're like stinking hot in it, but you look good.
Oh, okay.
It's all about aesthetics, man.
Yeah, I got this for a film I was working on at the time. Yeah, and
I remember that film. That was Deliverance, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember that one?
I remember you in that. That was Bianca's never seen Deliverance yet. We have to.
But I know you're talking about a movie, so
gotta play.
Oh no, you got to watch that movie.
Deliverance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I know my fiance's watched it, but I haven't.
Deliverance. Forget the movie, Bianca. Read the book. The book is amazing.
Okay.
The book is amazing. My students that I teach, they read that book, and they're like, "Wow!" And then I show them the movie. They're like, "Oh, the book's better."
Yeah, you'll want to run right out and sign up for a canoe trip right after that movie.
Oh no, you don't. But it does show you about the rape of the land.
And
you gotta watch the movie.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where the one guy goes to shoot the deer with a bow and arrow.
Johnny
and
Boy.
he quivers and thinks about it. And then, but in the movie, he goes to shoot a human and he doesn't. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, good. A good book, good movie, but really good book.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I would agree. I
like book versions.
More to the imagination.
Oh my lord! Right. Move on for me, like the deli meat to Deliverance. Yeah. Oh my lord!
We've got it all covered here. Meat, movies.
All about meat. Oh man, and Kevin, you started this. It's like he's embarrassed. I don't think we've ever seen him embarrassed on any show that I've ever watched he's been on. So I think we've accomplished an amazing feat here on the camping show. So congratulations, Kevin.
Kevin, what kinds of trips have you been on since the beginning of the summer?
A lot. I've been in the woods. The woods. I've been in the woods a lot. So what happened was my main publisher, Firefly, said we need to redo the top canoe routes, 60 canoe routes of Ontario, the top 70 routes, actually 71 routes because I took one route out. So I've been doing a whole bunch of routes because the book is due August 19th, and actually I'm done. I've done all the routes. In fact, actually just a couple of days ago, I was like, done. Nice. And really early for me. But yeah, I've been in the woods more than I've been at home. And I got to tell you, the deer flies are stupid, crazy this year. And the mosquitoes really didn't go away. They're still around. Black flies burned off really quickly. But yeah, I've done... Oh gosh, I've done Algonquin. I've done the west end of Lake Nipissing. I've done Temagami, then I've done southern Ontario near Detroit. Then I've done, oh god, I've done a lot. I've been in the woods a lot more than I have been at home.
Nice.
You know, I know that because when I've called, and every time I call you, I seem to get your answering service.
No, I just don't really like you, CW.
Is that what it is? I thought it's got to be. I know he loves me, so I don't know. You know.
What was really cool, CW. So I was on the Saugeen River because I had to redo that route. I mean, that's already in the book, but I redo it because so many things had changed. So I redid that trip, and it was a magical moment, really. So it was a canoe route in southwestern Ontario. So it's not like wilderness, whatever, but I had sort of some bars on my phone, but maybe not, maybe. And all of a sudden I went through this town of what town? I forget what town it was. It was a nice town. We got some supplies.
Was it Aintree?
What?
Was it Aintree?
No, is it going back to Deliverance?
Aintree. Oh, I'm sorry. That was Deliverance. I apologize for that.
Well,
that river don't go to Aintree. That's right.
No, we're going through a town, and I got some supplies, and all of a sudden, some fans came rushing to the shore because I had this canoe called the Happy Camper written on the side of it. Don't ever paddle a canoe with a Happy Camper. And they came to the Happy Camper, and you phoned right then.
Oh, that was. I remember you saying something.
I was like, "Oh, it's CW." Yeah, I don't have the time for you.
I didn't know you had the Happy Camper canoe. I mean, that's a whole
it's especially if it's CW. You know, it's just like,
you want something else.
You know, speaking of attention, I have to say, you know, what was this I saw on Dateline the other night about you being arrested? What in Canada? What was that? I mean, you really are famous, aren't you? I mean, and maybe infamous in that way.
Kevin the convict Callahan.
Oh my lord! No, it's so.
I see another canoe in this.
KCC. Kevin the convict Callan.
Oh man, it's so funny.
Tell us about that, brother.
So CW, like you kind of know, Bianca. You kind of maybe don't know, but I don't know what it is, but I don't really think about all that stuff about the fame and whatever. I mean, really, it's canoe camping fame.
But you are a rock star before all this too, though.
No, I don't really think about that, which maybe is a good thing. But it's so funny about the people that actually recognize me, and whether you go negative or positive was really funny. So imagine this happening to you guys. Okay, so I'm finishing a trip. Actually, I was really exhausted, to be quite honest. I was like, I was really dead tired. I'm driving down the main highway in Ontario. Woo, 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 lights, sirens, and a cop pulls me over. I haven't even pulled over for years because I'm actually a nice person. I don't do a lot of negative things. And so it's like,
That's what they said about Al Capone. He was a nice guy, man, but
no. But the thing is, so I'm thinking, and what happens when you get pulled over? What did I just do? And what do I talk about how to get out of this? Right? And it's like, I wasn't speeding. Like, what's going on? I pull over and the cop gets out of his vehicle. And as soon as he gets out of the vehicle, he's laughing. I went, son of a gun. It's a bloody fan.
Yes.
A fan girl.
Oh, my Lord. And it happened to be Canada's National Canoe Day that day. So we have a celebration here we have every year, right? So he walks up, hey, Kevin. And I went, I gotta take a photo of this. And he goes, well, you really can't. I really shouldn't be doing this. I went, I know.
Exactly.
You shouldn't be doing this because you just scared the poop out of my pants. And now I gotta. So anyway, good guy. In fact, I kind of know the officer. He's a Maine paddler, but also he does a lot of work for students at risk. And I do students at risk programs, and I kind of knew him, and it was a really good experience. But it was like, I got to get the picture. And you can put everything on Instagram or social media about all the great things you did, but just put a photo of you being arrested on the highway. You're going to get a lot of likes.
That'll do it. Yeah, absolutely.
It was kind of cool.
Why do people gravitate toward the negative, do you suppose, and the intimidating things like that?
Well, really, in all honesty, I could have been that person. What is your problem? You can't do this. That's wrong. Like you had to pull over on the highway, and I could have been all.
You're
that.
a nice guy. Everybody knows that you're a big marshmallow. So,
but not only that. At the end of the day, is why did he do it? He did it because he was excited to celebrate the whole National Canoe Day. He was excited about canoeing.
Yep.
You can't be an ass.
Yeah.
You can't.
And Canadians, man, they're all so nice.
I've heard that. Yeah. And plus, Kevin being the rock star that he is, and we're going to get into that in a little bit later. I mentioned that we're going to ask you questions that we've not been able to ask you before. Yeah. Especially about the picture of you in your diapers and where we got that, and we can't say.
Did I send you those?
Yes. Well, that remains a secret. But anyway, yes. And Bianca, you have another one. Go ahead. I'm gonna save that loaded question for a little bit later.
Yeah, no problem. Kevin, tell us about the release of your new memoir. So would this be book number 18 or is this 19?
Yeah, it's book number 19. And it's my second book that's self-published. So I've done other books through publishers, mainly Firefly and Boston Mills Press, which is now Firefly. And a few years back, I self-published Once Around Algonquin book because, it's a book about me going around Algonquin. Who wants to publish that? And that was a big hit, actually. So, and then I went to do a memoir. What happened with that, though, was really cool. It was during the pandemic. Remember those moments in your life when the whole COVID thing happened first, right? The first lockdown. So I was here for 12 weeks. I don't remember. You know what? Who really cares? I was here for a long time with the dog by myself. And I thought, hey, I should write a book. I got nothing else to do. I can't do anything else. And then I couldn't. And then a whole bunch of writers I knew, really famous writers, said, you should write a book. This is a great time to write a book. I went, I got nothing. I'm trying. I got nothing. And then the second lockdown happened. And then we were able to go out a little bit. Remember those times when we were able to go out a little bit? And we went on a canoe trip and came back. And I started writing. And it's all to do with what writers or radio people or whatever media people do. They soak up all their surroundings. I could not write or do anything creative when I'm sitting here with a dog doing nothing. I couldn't. But the moment I got into the wilderness, and then so I started writing all these short essays and sent it to my editor. And she said, oh, you're writing your memoir. I went, that's not a memoir. And she goes, yeah, it is, Kevin. It's all about you growing up, high anxiety as a kid. No surprise. High anxiety. But you always went into nature to cure that high anxiety. And that's what the book's about.
You know, I think the title of that memoir was what again? Life.
Another Bend in the River. The
Another
Hat became
Bend
her
in the River.
memoir.
Yeah. And you know what? I am just looking, and I asked Juan to solely well because I don't want to be looking away from the camera, but I was. So I'm looking at my Mac here. High school meant playing drums in a punk band and canoe tripping 3-keeled canoes. Life was good. What punk band? I could not picture you in a. You know, we did a lot of talking in a hotel room one night in Michigan. That famous television drop out the window. And that got us kicked out of the hotel and, you know, that kind of, and then we had to sleep on the band bus.
That's true.
But I didn't remember you ever speaking about a punk band. I always thought.
Well, you don't.
Is that what it was?
I mean, I was in bands. I was a really shy kid in high school. Like you know me now, and I do all these performances, whatever, and stuff like that. I don't. I was a really shy kid before high school, but in high school, and I was a drummer. I loved drumming. It wasn't all that great of it. But if someone asked me to be in their band, I went, yeah, okay. And I was in a whole pile of bands. But the one was a punk band. The two female leaders, two singers, dressed in full leather, with leather belts around their boobs.
A belt
and punk haired, all dyed in purple. In fact, I think one is a lawyer now, and one is high school principal. Anyway,
so cool.
No, it was, and they're really nice. Great. And then they said, "Hey, we need to do something really crazy for the school prom thing, and we want to do some stuff." So I became part of their band, and their band was called Santa's Syphilis.
Nice.
Yeah,
Kevin, I'm looking at your picture from 1982. You know who you look like? Andy Gibb from the Bee Gees brother.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. He's a hottie.
Andy Gibb.
You're missing a little bit of hair in the back, but
he's not the guy with the glasses and skinny guy, is he? Like,
when my aunt has a little too many, she starts calling my fiance Barry Gibb because he does really, and he's got the hair too.
Well, wait a minute. I want to be Barry Gibb, but why am I the other Gibb?
Juan, throw that comment back up here. I'm sorry.
You know what? I think we need to cut it to commercial. Kevin,
look at this.
I'd be offended.
I'd love to see CW and Kevin do a drumming duo. Okay, I see a challenge here at the next Canoecopia.
Oh yeah, no, we'd be good. In fact, I'd be really bad, but I'd wear a.
You'd wear a belt. Yeah, of course you would.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bianca. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, not at all. No, I'm just talking nonsense back here. But on a serious note, Kevin, you mentioned anxiety and going into the outdoors as a kid to relieve that, and I think that's very rare. I think that not most kids, I think, wouldn't turn to that, these days when they have anxiety. What was it for you that did it? What were the elements of the outdoors that really helped helped you forget about those things?
Yeah, I think there was probably two epiphanies. Well, even when writing the book, one was actually the second or third chapter. I wrote about my dad. He was a well-known boxer, right? And he was well-known, and he sort of said, you got to get to know people, and he shoved me towards that. And of course, he knew that didn't well. I had a stuttering problem. I had no social abilities whatsoever as a kid. So he put me into Scouts, and I love Scouts. Fantastic. I helped them all the time. But the great chapter in that book was when he dropped me off, I didn't go to the meetings. He didn't know that. I would go off and I would fish a local stream behind the church. And when he picked me up, he just thought I went to Scouts every Sunday. And then one day he all of a sudden said, well, hey, all the guys at work are talking about the whole Scout thing going on the whole weekend at the Scout Jamboree. And I went, oh, yeah. Of course, I didn't know what he was talking about because I didn't go. And then on the way there, we couldn't find the place. I finally had to tell him, Dad, sorry. And he was okay with it. And he goes, okay, whatever. We'll just go fishing a lot then. And as long as you go to nature, that's fine. That will cure you. And I was like, whoa, okay, that's fantastic. So that happened. But just a few years ago, I went, oh my Lord, it's the greatest story in the world. You imagine this in your life. when you're driving to a whole bunch of presentations because you're on tour, and I had a book out, and I was on this world tour, and I was going to a whole bunch of places, meeting hundreds of people, and I was a key speaker at the Scout Jamboree for 1,200 Scout leaders. And it was just one day of many days I had. I was, oh yeah, here we go. And I'm driving along, here we go. And I arrive, and it's the friggin' camp that we were trying to find when I was a kid. And I got there, and they're all like, oh, you're so fantastic. And I was a keynote speaker telling everybody how to re-energize and go into nature. But yet I was the kid that never went to that camp because I was just scared of people.
Did you incorporate that in your keynote speech?
No, in fact, actually, they wanted me to be part of the Scout thing. And I went, yeah, I never really graduated from Scouts. I love them, but I ran away.
I was a rogue Scout.
Oh, and to write about that and really not, even my mom, she read the whole manuscript before I put it to print, and she's like, I didn't know that. I went, yeah, whatever, like it happened. But the other was actually to write about it now and realize that I could only write that memoir when I escaped from the pandemic and started canoeing again. I find that really interesting. You know, in theory, I went through 3 lockdowns. I could have sat here and wrote 3,000 memoirs because I had the time. I could not. I did not have the energy or the pizzazz to do it until I went to the woods again. So it proves to all of us that we need to get into nature to re-energize, but also to be our true selves. We are our true selves when we're in nature. There's no facade when you're out on the portage in blackfly season.
That's
Very
awesome.
cool. I like
All
that.
right, stick around. We're going to take a little break. We're going to talk about the trips Kevin has planned for the summer. Just in a little bit, we're going to take a break. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Camping Show on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV after these messages.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground Views virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sites, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Views virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
How long have you guys been selling boats? Darren replied, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water. Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
We're back with Kevin Callan here on the Camping Show. Kevin, I got 2 questions for you. First one, I'm going to ask these in reverse order the way I've got them written here. Have you ever been on a canoe trip with Cliff Jacobson? I never did ask you that.
No, we've planned one, more than one. In fact, it would be awesome.
Yeah.
Him and I get along really well at the canoe shows, and I think around the campfire would be we'd have a blast.
We didn't have a campfire that night in the hotel, but it seemed like it would. I could see you both doing that, and with a little whiskey in hand, and I think that would be a great. I think we should. If you ever go, call me or someone. That's got to be. You have to film that.
Well, the one thing I've always wanted to do before I die, which is really interesting because I did my will today. Anyway.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But the thing
I am in it still, right?
It's kind of weird doing your will. I mean, I should have done my will years ago, but I did it today. I was like,
am I still in your will?
You're in my will. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'll give you my drum set.
Oh, and hey, I would love nothing more than that.
Just I figure you don't have many.
Either that or your canoe paddle. No, I actually don't have many drums anymore.
Is your hat in the will?
I never thought, it's so funny. Because they asked me all those questions today. The lawyer goes, okay, so what vehicle
Did
do
you say
have?
the lawyer or the Lord?
Well, both.
Who are you speaking with?
Both,
The Lord.
both Lord and the lawyer.
All
But
right.
it was like, so what things do you have of value, like money value? Because the lawyer is going to say money value, right? And I said, well, I've got 12 canoes. And of course, she pauses and said, whoa, like, okay, that's a lot of canoes. Like, are they any value? I went, no, they're all banged up. Nobody would want them.
Yeah, right.
But going back to Jacobson, the one trip that him and I have always wanted to do and we should do, and COVID got in the way, whatever, blah, 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 was to go to Quetico Vander Waters, and him and I are in one canoe with the Canadian flag on one side and the American flag on the other, and to go canoeing down Basswood Lake and all those other lakes along the boundary, and then have debates about protection of wilderness between the United States and Canada. And I would be, oh my Lord, that's in my will.
We talked about that, remember? And actually, Darlene Patterson was there, and we said, Kevin on the Canadian side with the flag, and Cliff on the American side. That would be funny, and the debate back and forth. Yeah.
Oh, it would be great. And actually, there's not much debate. Him and I debate a lot. We had a lot of fun together. But I agree with a lot of what he says, right? And it'd just be a lot of fun just to do that, and just to paddle together with the two flags. Because you think about it, Quetico would not be Quetico if it wasn't for the United States. They actually, when Sigurd Olsen met Eric Morris on the border, that was all contrived and that was all made so they can expand the park. And there's a lot of history there. And actually, the United States really, Canada has to thank the United States for actually crediting Quetico.
Yeah, very good. What kind of trips you got planned for the summer, real quick? We got some pictures we want to see here. And
okay. Yeah, lots. I'm doing a whole bunch of trips. So I'm going to finish my book, which is kind of done with the whole top 70. Temagami, Killarney, Algonquin, Lake Huron, West Bay, Lake Nipissing, the Ottawa River. Actually, I'm really sleeping in a tent more than I am sleeping here.
You're going to fit all that in before the end of summer.
Yes.
Wow.
That's awesome.
You're like a touring rock star. It's like a city a day.
What's really nice is that it's like the old days, and I really am not a person to say that, like the old days. Like
right.
I'm not a lover boy. Like look at the lead singer, Lover Boy. I do not want to be Lover Boy. Okay. But
you're not working for the weekend.
Oh my God, no, I don't. It's true what they say. Like if you're a rock star and then you want to go back in time, maybe you shouldn't. But what's really nice about my life and career is I can go back and do all this canoeing still. Yeah, I'm a little old and frail on the portages and stuff, but when they said, hey, we have to rehash this book, I was like, oh, rehash. Oh my God, it's like the Lover Boy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but I thought, what if I add stuff? That does sound like the Lover Boy.
You kind of like add stuff. You mean like things that like you're embellishing on what was, or creating new things?
No, it's all new.
Okay.
Which actually you're right, because a new Lover Boy album nobody would buy. But what's really kind of cool is so just lately I went to the West Bay of Lake Nipissing to write about that area because I didn't know anything about it, which is really cool. Know nothing about it, right? Go there, found a majestic area full of Crown Line campsites, full of island campsites. Didn't even really want to write about it because it's like, oh, do I really want people to go here? And it's like the old days. It's like, yeah, I do. Because the idea of getting people out there is, the answer is to get more people out there, the more people want to protect that area. The West Bay of Lake Nipissing, it's a canoe paradise. It's unbelievable.
Of all the trips, and you've been on many, so I'm sure you have a few of these, but of all your canoe expeditions, which ones would you say would be your favorite?
Oh, Bianca. Oh, I know. Okay, I'll give you two really quick answers for that. One is I typically give to the media all the time, and I really believe it when I say it, is it's not the ones I've done. It's the next one I'm doing, which I don't know what I'm doing.
Hmm.
It's always the next route. And I actually believe in that. But I also know that people have heard that 10,000 times over, and they're, oh, here we go.
It's a noble answer. Yeah.
So I'll tell you some of my favorite places. Killarney Provincial Park in Ontario is got to be the most scenic place in all of Canada.
Wow.
Okay.
Algonquin, anywhere in Algonquin, but probably the what's the one that goes across and the Brent Run starts at Canoe Lake to Cedar and back again. Probably the best route for historic reasons, and also because I just like Algonquin because it's just 2 hours north of me.
Right.
Quetico I love because really Quetico, like, it's a paddler's mecca that Americans know, but Canadians do not. They should know. Woodland Caribou is one of my most favorite places in far northern Ontario. But I would say the place I would love to go to again and again is
Number
Algoma.
one. What is it?
Yeah, Algoma, which is it's between Sault Ste. Marie and Sudbury, Algoma region, which is called Megasin Lake, west of Biddendong River. And why is because when I was 12 years old, that's the first time I went in a canoe when I was fishing with my dad at a fishing lodge.
Oh, wow.
And I wrote in my journal saying this vessel is the best thing ever created to get into the true wilderness when I was 12 years old.
Nice.
And Algoma is great. It's got huge pine, trout. Nobody really goes there. Even though I always tell the media it's the next thing I'm going to, which I believe in, but I would say, yeah, if I go back to Megasin Lake before I die, because I wrote my will, I'm good.
Very good. Love it. Love it.
All right, guys, stay tuned. Those photos are coming up in just a bit. Kevin's got a few he wants to show us. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more of the camping show on W4CY Radio and Talk 4 TV after these messages. Stay tuned.
It is time to go camping. Introducing Campground Views virtual tours. You can tour the campground, see the sights, see if they are available, and click to book your perfect spot. Hit the open road and explore the amazing places found in nature. We make it easy to discover, find, and book your site so that you can go have the fun and freedom you seek. Campground Views virtual tours make it easy and simple for you to see where you are going.
How long have you guys been selling boats? Darren replied, we don't sell boats. We sell time on the water.
Hello.
Of course, that comes in all types. We help people paddle more safely with Rutabaga outdoor programs. We rent canoes, kayaks, and stand-up paddleboards. We sell and install racks to get you from home to adventure. Rutabaga's got everything you need to get you out on the water, like paddles, life jackets, dry bags, and clothing. Rutabaga Paddle Sports, on the web at rutabaga.com. Mention you saw this ad on The Camping Show.
Back with our guest, Kevin Callan, here on The Camping Show. Juan, we've got some photos from the sexy beast here. Let's put those up, and let's have Kevin tell us a little bit about each of those. Oh, here we go. I love it.
Oh, my Lord. Okay, I'll do it quick. I know we're running out of time. That's Frodo the ferret. Before ferrets were actually pets. I worked at a wildlife center, and I had all these animals I took care of that nobody else wanted to take care of. And actually, that became my writing career. I actually walked into a local newspaper and said, I want to write a nature column. And they're like, have you ever written before? I went, well, I wrote songs for my band. And they're like, yeah, whatever. So I wrote a piece called Northern Exposure. I won't get into it. It's all about getting naked in the woods, whatever. Anyway, but I had the ferret with me, and the ferret was he was famous. That ferret went west with me, Lake Superior, went winter camping. Like I had that ferret for years.
Oh, wow. So, in this day and age with TikTok and everything, that ferret would have been famous in no time.
Yeah, but at that time, though, it was like, he's weird. He's got a ferret.
Right?
Yeah,
like, oh.
Yeah, which is fine because like poor Frodo. I mean, he was going to be put down, and then I
Oh wow.
yeah, so I took him in.
Awesome.
I had a lot of weird. I was a weird kid. Well, I'm still a weird kid, but yeah. So I took him in, and oh my god, that ferret went everywhere with me. Yeah.
My fiance had a squirrel at some point, and he says it used to even ride in the saddle of his motorcycle too. So used to
Oh,
keep him around. He'd have him in his pocket, and real good.
oh,
Yeah.
Merle the squirrel. He went to schools with me. I had Merle the squirrel, and then he died of a brain aneurysm in front of a bunch of grade 7s, and just died in front of them. That was
Shut up. Oh,
yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah.
Kyle, my fiance, his squirrel's name was Jasper, and his mom thought it'd be a good idea to keep them out in a chicken coop, and I think it got bit by mosquitoes and had a seizure, and that was the
Oh,
end of poor Jaspy. But those photos, look at that, black and white. That's awesome.
oh yeah, that's Dr. Nature. So I dressed up as Dr. Nature, and everybody that graduated from my class, I did an online, not online, sort of. I drove in a van online. I went to schools dressed as Dr. Nature with Fred the Hawk, Frodo the Ferret, and me dressed as Dr. Nature. And when they graduated as first aiders for the environment, they got a certificate and they helped nature. And oh my lord, that was so long ago.
I love the denim. Oh
Here
my
we go.
gosh, that denim needed a moment.
Yeah, that whole outfit I got at the thrift store. I worked for the government for a few months, and they didn't not like me not wearing their uniform because I wore really weird outfits like Dr. Nature. So I actually I bought the rights of Dr. Nature and left the government, and then went on my own.
Here's
That was
Kevin
kinda cool.
getting arrested. I love it.
Yeah. So here's a great guy. I mean, I forget the constable's name, and it's a good thing we don't mention him. But yeah, he pulled me over and just loved what I did. Loved that I helped students at risk, and loved that I get people out in nature. And so did he. And I could have went nuts on the guy saying, "What are you doing, pulling me over?" But I just wanted to hug him. I really wanted to hug. He made my day. He actually made my year when he did that.
He looks like a nice guy, like Columbo or something. Here we go. What's this one, Kevin?
Oh, that's when I was arrested. So yeah, I dressed as Dangerous Dan because I worked for the government in Ontario parks back in the day. I mean, they're different now, but back in the day, you weren't allowed to do anything different, right? So, at Ridge Park, they wanted to do a safety program, and I dressed as Dangerous Dan, and I did some really weird stuff. And I got a local cop that I knew, and he went to arrest me when I put a beer in my canoe. I had 1,200 people.
Look
I literally
at
had
that.
1,200 people watching that. And then when I got back to work on Monday, because my boss wasn't there on Sunday, and the local paper I worked for wrote the piece up, I lost my job. They said, they said, well, you weren't in your uniform, and that's wrong. And I went, I think I don't belong here. I'm gone. And that started the whole thing of my career of creating different programs I did for myself. I worked for myself. I've never worked for anybody else except myself, to be quite honest.
That's beautiful. What do we got? This is your favorite picture again.
Yeah, that's working on my first book in Killarney. And I got there was an organization that was going to give me money to work on a book, my very first book on Killarney. And then they did not give me money, and I stayed there on my own for over a year.
Oh wow! With
the ferret, and you think about it, I was a young kid, and my very first book was published when I was 27 years old, and I did it all on my own. All my books and guidebooks on all of Ontario. You think about, I have written and promoted all of Ontario tourism and everything else, done it all on my own, and no money received from the government, which I'm fine with because of that day. The day when actually they said a young kid cannot do this, which I agreed with. They're right. But when that happened, I went, yeah, I'll never ask for anything ever again from any. Yeah. That's Fred. Oh, Fred. Fred was a experiment. Bald eagle. When I worked at the Wildlife Center, they were raising bald eagles to release into the wild, and they weren't doing well. The bald eagles would eat their own young, so then they got red-tailed hawks to breed with them instead. And then Fred, it worked. So then they used those bald eagles. But then my boss said, "Okay, well, we don't need Fred anymore." They went to kill Fred. I went, "Hey, woo!" So I got Fred, got a permit for him, and then he went all around schools with me for years.
Wow. Very cool.
Oh.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. Is this the canoe, the happy camper canoe that you rolled up in when you got a telephone call from certain broadcaster?
Yeah, don't pal around a boat with happy camper.
I remember the Canadian, the maple leaf one that you had.
Oh, I still have that in the backyard too. Yeah.
'cause that looks like Eddie Van Halen's guitar a little bit.
Yeah, and it's really good canoe, but it's a Cronje.
Wow.
Oh my God!
What is that?
Yeah.
What are you doing? What, are you a spotted cow or what is
You
that?
must
That
have
was-
a cowbell.
Well, that was one of many shows I've done with Jerry at Canucopia. He's never asked me to play drums with him. The bucker. Like, at least I know how to play drums, but he's asked me to play cowbell, to do all the other crazy stuff he's asked me to do. And it was really funny is when he asked me to do the cowbell, oh my Lord, he's like, Kevin, nothing can go wrong or right during any of your performances.
What do we got here, Kevin? We
Yeah,
gotta move along. Look at-
okay. So I did a film. Actually, that's how I started editing film. Oh my Lord, really quickly. So Quetico Foundation hired Kip Spidell and I, a really famous film producer, to do a film across Quetico. They couldn't raise the money, so I ended up buying the film, got the rights of it, and then taught myself how to edit film. And then during the time, we kind of had this pot that we did silly things with. It had nothing to do with the film. It just we're bored. It was like 3-week canoe trip, right? And then a famous filmmaker saw the pot and he goes, "Put the pot in the film." And I went, "Why?" He goes, "Because you own it. You can do whatever you want, Kevin." Yeah.
Kevin, where can people go to follow you on social media?
Oh, sorry, I'm blabbing on and
No,
the
no,
best
that's
is-
okay. I love
We're
to
good.
see you in possession of pot.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's really funny too is I got nothing against smoking pot, but I don't. But Kip did, and I'm pretty sure that's why that was invented. I think he was doing the pot thing.
It's a dirty,
Yeah.
stinky, smelly old pot.
Oh yeah.
I love
He,
it, I love
and he was like, "I don't know what we're gonna do. No, just have to put this pot." Yeah. Anyway, but watch the film. It's on YouTube now. It's on KC Happy Camper is my YouTube channel, and actually Quest for Wilderness. If you haven't seen it yet, watch it tonight. Watch the pot in the film. Makes no sense at all why that pot is in there, but I put it there because, well, I own the film.
Well, you know what? If you own the film, you can do whatever you want, man. That is a beautiful thing. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Kevin, we'd like to thank you for being our guest here on the Camping Show. It's always a pleasure having you on with us.
And we'd also like to thank each of our sponsors for bringing you tonight's show, Campground Views, as well as Rutabaga Paddle Sports.
Be sure to tune in for next week's episode, Paragus Outfitters BWCA Summer Update 2022 with our special guest, Drew Brockett.
Until then, thank you for tuning into the Camping Show. Kevin, thank you so much. You're always a joy. And I'm Bianca KQ reminding you, learn more, do more. Good night,
See you next
everyone.
week.